3 years of dating, and every time he pushed to move in together, I said no. Now that our wedding date was set, I asked if he wanted to finally get a place together. That's kind of awkward. I've got a girl living at my place. I froze. What? He let out a resigned sigh. You wouldn't even give me the most basic physical intimacy. What was I supposed to do? I'm not a saint, Ronnie. If you won't put out, I'll find someone who will. She's just a temporary bed buddy. I pay her a daily rate. She keeps me satisfied. You've got zero experience in that department, so honestly, you should talk to her. She knows exactly which positions I like. I stared, stunned, at his mouth opening and closing. You've saved yourself all these years. I'm really curious what kind of surprise you're going to give me on our wedding night. Wedding night? Surprise? In your dreams. I pulled out my phone and fired off a message to the wedding planner. Cancel the surprise. Carter Rowe leaned over, but all he caught were the words, the surprise. His eyes lit up instantly. A surprise? Ronnie, what surprise did you get me? I smiled and said nothing. I didn't tell him I'd bought the luxury condo he'd been eyeing. To make it happen, I'd spent the past year killing myself to land several major clients, cramming 2 years of company KPIs into 12 months. The second my bonus hit, I bought the place. Then spent nearly 6 months renovating it behind his back. This week I'd put the finishing touches on the bedroom, just waiting for today when he and I would move in together. To celebrate the start of our new life. I'd even drawn up the paperwork to add his name to the deed. All we had to do was get legally married, and I'd put him on the title. Remembering that I'd just mentioned moving in together, Carter wrapped an arm around my waist. Don't tell me it's a maid outfit. I'd love that. I shifted my body, casual, just enough to slip out of his grip. Carter didn't notice at all. Instead, he pulled out his phone, excited. Oh, I'm also into the nurse thing. Think you can do both. Look at Lily in this one. The costume game? Insane, right? I stared, frozen, as he opened a hidden partition on his phone right in front of me and pulled up a photo album I'd never seen before. It was packed. Photo after photo of the girl named Lily Graves. Maid outfit, nurse costume, sailor uniform, every fantasy covered. Even I blush looking at them, and I'm a woman, let alone a man running as hot as Carter. For some reason, though, the girl's face snagged at me, something familiar. Like I'd seen her somewhere before. Before I could place it, the sound of Carter swallowing hard broke through my thoughts. He covered for it by swiping on, showing me more of their intimate photos. Every single timestamp after he'd said goodnight to me. I used to think it was impressive, even admirable, that a grown man kept such a disciplined sleep schedule, lights out early every single night. I'd been secretly pleased to find a boyfriend whose routine matched mine so perfectly. It never once crossed my mind that his nights were anything but quiet. That for all 3 years we'd been together, every single one of those nights had been a party for two. He even helpfully explained the bizarre-looking objects in some of the photos, things I'd never seen in my life. Ronnie, these are all top-tier toys. When Lily's not up for it, we switch things up. I'm telling you, a woman needs to be classy in public, handy in the kitchen, and an absolute freak with the lights off. His phone buzzed. A paycheck deposit notification. That was when I realized the $1,400 monthly salary he'd been telling me about was a lie. He swiped the $4,500 notification away in a guilty rush, rubbed his nose, and kept talking. Look, Ronnie, let me explain. Lily was a virgin when she came to me. $800 a night. That's practically a bargain. I did this for your sake, too. You have no idea how dirty the girls out there can be. One wrong move, and you catch something nasty. But Lily's different. I handpicked her. She's clean, hardworking, eager to learn, sweet, and considerate. The day you and I get married, she'll move out on her own. $800 a night. Every single night, no days off. That was at least $24,000 a month on Lily Graves alone. No wonder he was always telling me his salary wasn't enough, that he couldn't afford a bigger place. He'd been spending it all between another woman's legs. 3 years of cheating, and he had the nerve to call himself clean. And me, I'd been the fool. When my mom insisted he buy at least 1,000-square-foot condo before the wedding, I was the one who talked her out of it. When he saw I wasn't asking for anything, that I'd set the bride price at just $8,800 for good luck, his eyes welled up with tears. He knelt in front of my mother and swore, "Mom, I promise. I'll treat Ronnie right. I'll love her and take care of her. I'll work hard and give her the best of everything." But the money he earned, what he spent on me in an entire month, wasn't even a fraction of what he gave Lily Graves. I stared at the face in front of me, so familiar, and couldn't reconcile it with the man I'd loved for 3 years. I loved him, for how good he was to me, for his discipline, his self-respect, and for honoring my wish to wait until marriage. I thought if he could endure 3 years of celibacy, he'd never betray me. It never once occurred to me that from the very first time I turned him down, he'd already been betraying me. At least it wasn't too late. To show how sorry he was, Carter transferred his entire month's salary to me. I was about to decline. But then he pressed a business card into my hand. "We're getting married soon. It's time you started learning some essential skills. This is Lily's number. Add her. Pick up some tips from her when you get the chance. Once you've got it down, I'll hand over every paycheck. I really can't wait for your surprise." Before I could refuse, he'd already called Lily and told her we were all having dinner together. It wasn't until we arrived at the restaurant that it truly hit me. He actually expected the 3 of us to sit down at the same table. The whole point was for me to learn from Lily Graves how to please him. I lost it. "Carter Rowe, do I look cheap to you? If she wants to sell herself, that's her business. Don't you dare drag me into your filth." He looked even angrier than I was, his brows twisted in disbelief. "What? I'm handing you money to learn how to take care of a man, and you don't want it? Lily's willing to teach you for free. If anything, you should be the one picking up the check tonight. What are you cursing me out for?" Lily Graves, face done up in that calculated no-makeup look, the picture of wide-eyed innocence, reached over and smoothed the crease between his brows. Her voice went syrupy sweet. "Carter, don't be so hard on her. It's normal that she's not comfortable with this yet. You have to be patient with her, just like you were when you first taught me." The suggestion dripping from those words sent the blood rushing straight to Carter's face. Just when I thought he was about to kiss her, he shooed her out of the private room. Unease surged through me, and I moved to leave too. Carter grabbed my wrist. "Ronnie, I don't think I can wait anymore. Can I?" I felt him pressed against me and grabbed the ice-cold Coke off the table, dumping it straight over his head. But instead of flinching, he grinned, voice thick with amusement. "Ronnie, are you shy? Or is it that you're jealous? Gotta say, you're pretty cute when you're jealous." I lost it. My hand came up and cracked across his face. "Jealous? I'd have to be out of my goddamn mind to ever fall for a piece of shit like you. We're done. It's over." Carter pressed a hand to his already swelling cheek. He wasn't angry. He was grinning, eyes alive with excitement. "Damn, nice swing. Hits harder than Lily's, too." His words churned my stomach. When he saw me doubled over dry heaving, the playfulness vanished and his face shifted to concern. "Ronnie, what's wrong? Are you sick? I'll take you to the hospital right now." I shoved him back. "Get away from me. Don't touch me." Only then did it hit him that I wasn't sick. I was disgusted by him. He stared at me, wounded, his eyes rimming red. "Ronnie, you don't love me anymore?" "I was willing to tell you everything, no secrets. Why won't you believe me?" Something seemed to occur to him, and he immediately booked a hospital appointment on his phone. "If you don't believe me, I'll go get blood work done right now. I'll prove I'm clean." He actually thought that as long as he hadn't caught a disease, he was clean. Unbelievable. I took a deep breath and said it to his face, word by word. Carter Rowe, in my eyes, every inch of you is filthy. He went rigid, eyes wide, swearing to God. Lily's an innocent college girl, pure and obedient. There's no way I'm dirty. I grabbed my phone and refunded the $32,000 on the spot. Clean or dirty, it's got nothing to do with me anymore. You and I are done. Finished. Seeing me refuse even the money on top of breaking up with him, something in him panicked. He grabbed my arm, dragged me out of the private room, and told Lily, who'd been waiting by the door, to come with us to the hospital. The whole way there, he kept pulling Lily along, the two of them swearing oaths together. Ronnie, once the blood work comes back, you'll see I wasn't lying. At the hospital, he rushed Lily to the blood draw window, frantic to get them both tested. But Lily never made it to the window. She collapsed right there on the floor. Carter caught her on instinct, scooping her up and rushing her straight to the ER. Half an hour later, a doctor came out holding a test report and congratulated him. Sir, your girlfriend is pregnant. Congratulations, you're going to be a father. Carter went stiff. His eyes darted to me, panicked. Ronnie, let me explain. There's got to be a mistake. I used protection every single time. There's absolutely no way. The doctor looked at him, then at me, and instantly understood that the three of us were a story. She gave me one pitying glance before turning to Carter, her tone cold. Mr. Rowe, a urine test can give a false positive. A blood test cannot. Carter's lips were trembling. He reached for me. I slapped the other side of his face, the side that was still unmarked. Cheater. Animal. We're done. Carter took that slap without flinching, head bowed, and apologized. Ronnie, give me 10 minutes. I'll go take care of everything right now. He drew a breath, looked up, asked the doctor to schedule an abortion, and walked into the ER. Seconds later, I heard Lily sobbing from behind the door. Carter, I don't want her money. I don't care how much you offer. What Carter did about that baby was none of my business. I picked up my bag and went straight home. I'd barely lain down when the doorbell rang. Please, I want to keep this baby. I'm begging you. Please don't make me go through with the surgery. Lily's sobbing started up outside my door. I pretended I was deaf. She only cried harder, loud enough to draw the neighbors out. And under their questioning, she had the nerve to call me her older sister, the one forcing her to abort her baby. The neighbors, knowing nothing, started pounding on my door. I was so furious I could barely see straight. I yanked the door open to throw her out. She was on her knees. Please, I really do love Carter. Don't tear us apart, okay? I pulled out my phone to show the neighbors photos of me and Carter together. But Lily beat me to it, shamelessly showing them photos from his bed. Compared to the polite, public shots of Carter and me standing at a careful distance, her intimate photos were far more convincing. What sealed it was the background of one picture, Carter's family portrait. Anyone could see they'd been living together. The neighbors turned on me with open disgust. Stealing your own sister's man? Have you no shame? Who gives you the right to force someone to kill their baby? We're watching you tonight. Try something, see what happens. I couldn't take it anymore. I called Carter. He showed up fast. The second he saw Lily kneeling in front of me, his face went dark. He pulled her up, gathered her into his arms, and started checking her over. When he saw how red and swollen her knees were, he turned on me. Veronica, you've gone too far. Why would you do this to Lily? The neighbors piled on, embellishing every detail of how I'd supposedly bullied her. My vision blurred with rage, but I forced it down and asked him, voice cold. Tell everyone, before today, whose boyfriend were you? Carter's gaze swept across the neighbors staring him down, but it never landed on my face. That didn't stop him from answering. I'm Lily's boyfriend. You have no right to force her to get rid of our baby. Lily's wet eyes lit with triumph and a taunt meant for me. Carter, don't blame her. I know she just loves you too much. And I wasn't sincere enough, kneeling like that. Hearing Carter claim her with his own mouth, one of the neighbors stormed back inside and came out with a carton of eggs. They hurled them at me. Shells cracked against my forehead, my cheeks, my clothes. The raw stench so thick, I nearly gagged. Lily quickly raised her hand to stop the crowd. Please don't make things harder for my sister. She has her reasons. Then she tugged Carter's sleeve. Let's talk inside. Don't put her in a worse spot out here. Without a word, Carter scooped Lily up and carried her into my apartment. The neighbors lingered for the show, but Carter sent out a few fat red envelopes on his phone and apologized to the crowd. Dirty laundry shouldn't be aired in public. Sorry for the trouble. The money shut them up, but on their way out, several of them spat at my feet. I looked up at the hallway security camera and swallowed everything down. Inside, I didn't spare a glance at the two of them tangled together. I went straight to the bathroom and scrubbed the filth off my face. Then I took out my phone to call the police. Before I could say a word, Carter snatched it out of my hand and smashed it on the floor. Veronica, after all this, you still don't think you've embarrassed yourself enough. I told you I'd handle everything. Why did you have to go after Lily? I fired back. I went after her. He pulled out his own phone and shoved a screenshot in my face, a message Lily had forwarded to him. You threatened to expose her, to ruin her chances of getting her diploma. When did you become this vicious? I stared at that anonymous message and almost laughed. No wonder he'd gotten here so fast. Lily had set the whole thing up. Laughable. He hadn't bothered to verify a single thing before deciding that anonymous message came from me. Fine. If I was already convicted, I might as well earn the charge. I picked up my backup phone, ready to send the evidence straight to the university email for Lily Graves' school. Carter saw what I was doing and went straight to threats. Veronica, you leak anything and we're done. I actually laughed. Right there, I snapped a photo of that pregnancy test report and posted it to my social media, announcing the wedding was off. Funny thing was, the man who just threatened to break up with me didn't like that one bit. He pulled me aside and lowered his voice. The wedding date's already set. You're really going to blow up our entire relationship over something this small? I already told you, Lily and I are a pay-by-the-day arrangement. There's no feelings involved. Even if there's a kid, it won't change how I feel about you. Why do you have to make this into a whole thing? Worst case, I'll have her move out right now. You move into my place, and I'll find her somewhere else to carry the baby. But I am not accepting a breakup. So, cheating on me for 3 years behind my back was something small. Branding me as the other woman in front of my own neighbors was how he felt about me. Giving me the wedding, but giving the marriage certificate to another woman and having a child with her was his idea of sincerity. I would rather die alone than spend another second with this piece of trash. I grabbed the broom from the corner and pointed it at the door. I'm counting to 3. If you two aren't gone, don't blame me for burning it all down. Veronica, what is wrong with you? This is nothing. And your screaming breakup, canceling the wedding? Is that really necessary? He held my stare for 3 full seconds, realized I meant it, and shoved Lily straight into my study to shield her. Then he went to my bedroom and started packing my bags. You have a problem, take it up with me. Don't scare Lily. She's just a naive little girl. If you still want to marry me, come back to my place right now. This apartment's perfect for her while she's carrying the baby. You're already 29. Even being a virgin, you'd be hard-pressed to find another man who treats you as well as I do. Lily's pregnant, so she can't exactly keep working with me anymore. You and me living together just makes perfect sense. Stars aligned. Stars aligned. What a beautiful way to put it. It was the first time I truly appreciated the sheer range of the human species. My phone buzzed. A message from the private investigator I'd hired. One glance, and every scattered fragment clicked into place. No wonder Lily looked so familiar. A plan formed in my mind instantly. I couldn't help it. The corner of my mouth curved up on its own. If Carter had been looking at me, he'd have known that smile meant somebody was about to have a very bad day. But he was too busy pulling out a blood test report. My results came back. I'm completely clean. That should put your mind at ease, right? I know you didn't blow this up because of what we had together, and I know you feel wronged. So when I said I'd marry you, I meant it. I'm not going back on my word. I tested the waters. So, what's your plan? The moment he sensed me softening, delight spread across his face. Lily and I have been through a lot. I can't make her get rid of it, but I don't want you to be upset either. So, for everyone's sake, our wedding goes ahead as planned, but we hold off on getting legally married. Once the baby's born and registered, I'll divorce her and get the marriage certificate with you. How's that sound? I stood there stunned, unable to believe those words had actually come out of a human mouth. But I swallowed the profanity clawing at my throat, stayed silent for a long time, and finally said, "Okay." The second he saw me yield, tears actually spilled down his face. "Ronnie, I knew it. You've always been the reasonable one. I knew you'd understand my situation." His hands were shaking as he reached for me, trying to pull me into his arms. But Lily suddenly clutched her stomach and said she felt sick. Carter shot me an apologetic glance, then rushed her out. Over the next few days, he didn't have time to contact me at all. The pre-wedding footage we were supposed to film together got canceled on his orders. I was happy to be left alone. It gave me all the time I needed to dig up everything there was to know about Lily Graves. All I had to do was wait for the wedding day. Just as I'd predicted, Lily would never let our ceremony go ahead now that she had a pregnancy to leverage. She shoved a freshly minted marriage certificate right in my face. "Veronica, I'm Carter's legal wife. What right do you have to stand here and marry him?" I smiled and turned to Carter. "Is that how you feel too?" He kept shooting Lily looks, trying to signal her to stop, but she'd already handed the prenatal report to Jill Rowe. Jill switched sides on the spot, pulling Lily close and calling her daughter-in-law. She shoved me aside and announced they'd be holding the wedding for these two instead. Through all of it, Carter never once looked at me. My phone just kept buzzing. "Ronnie, I'm begging you, don't make a scene here. I owe you a wedding and I'll make it up to you double, I swear. Oh, and starting tonight, move into my place." I didn't reply. I just smiled and connected my phone to the projector. The next second, images scrolled across the screen that shocked every person in the room. Jill slapped Lily across the face. "You filthy slut. You think you're fit to marry my son?"